Welcome everyone to my channel. This is a spoiler review for Witching Moon. I am Leanne, and we are going to talk about Ruth Glick writing as Rebecca York's series Moon, the first book or third book or whatever book. I didn't even know this book had a series until later. Anyways, the swamp is their sanctuary. Its nights echo with the beat of the moonlit reveals, feeding their dark hunger for power and for revenge. The Nature's Refuge Preserve, deep in the southern Georgia swamp, was a place steeped in superstition and legend and death. The previous head ranger had ended up dead, but werewolf Adam Marshall is ideally suited to explore the park and investigate its dangers. But in the still of the night, a mysterious fire burns, and even Adam's highly honed instincts are disoriented by the thick, drugging smoke, leading to a near disaster. Adam's suspicions are raised by Sarah Weston, a botanist who has come to the swamp to research the vegetation. He finds himself drawn to her in ways he doesn't understand. He fights the passion that threatens to cloud his judgment. And when a coven of witches with a score to settle with the locals decides that Adam and Sarah are in their way, Adam will discover that Sarah is hiding secrets as powerful as the one that runs through his blood. So the premise for this is basically there's witches that want the revenge, and poor previous park ranger, he was in the way. And so basically you have witches who were chased out. Well, their families were chased out of the town of Windale, I think it's called, and they're back for revenge against the town. You have Copperhead, we don't get his real name, Razorback, which we don't get his real name, Willow, we don't get her real name, and Starflower, we get her, we don't get her real name either. But we do get Falcon's real name, which is John Ringel. So John Ringel, Falcon, is the leader of the coven. He's average looking. He's not as hot and pretty as everybody thinks he is. And what he wants is revenge against Austin Barnett, who helped make a witch hunt happen, which pushed out all of the witches in Windale. And he wants revenge because his family was pushed out. His uncle was forced to sell land that belonged to them, and he wants revenge for that. Also, they do know them the most powerful witch that was killed, Not Jonah, but what's her name? What's her name? Jenna. Jenna is a powerful witch. She wasn't part of the clan, but she was the one who was burnt alive in her cabin. And her daughter, who was rescued by the man that she was with, her father, survived. You actually learned that Sarah Weston is Jenna's daughter, and she does have powerful power, but she doesn't know how to use it. So the people in the town are a little weird, like Mrs. Della Waverly, who never throws anything away, but hides all the information about the witch hunts that they had in the past that killed somebody and had a little girl go missing. Sheriff Paul Delacourt, father, was in on it, and he doesn't want to be like his father. He wants to expose the town for what it did and to stop murders from happening, of course. Austin Barnett is the one who wants to keep everything under wraps. He doesn't want anybody knowing. He's also the one who owns the Nature Refuge. He's actually killed by John Ringel and almost kills Adam. If it wasn't for Sarah coming in and rescuing him, in the end using her witchy powers to prevent them from killing him. You meet a few of the workers who work at the thing, but the one that's most important is Amy Ralston. Now, we don't know who Brenda is, but Brenda is either Willow or Starflower, and she is cousins or sisters or something with Amy, and she forces Amy to spy on what happens in the Nature Refuge so they know everything that's going on, including when Randall or Austin or Sarah leave the refuge in any way, shape, or form. It's how they capture Austin and end up eventually killing him. Of course, how they did that without James the butler getting in the way is beyond me. You also meet Hal Montgomery, who is a botanist himself, and he's a doctor in it. That's actually Sarah Weston's biological father, and he just wanted to keep her safe, but actually drew her back in to the town so that way she knew that she had powers and was able to use them. finally able to grow into her powers because he didn't want her not knowing forever. He also learned that when the werewolf gene causes them to lose children. So girls die very, very young in the womb, I'm guessing, or even younger than that. And the boys, some of them don't survive turning into a werewolf and some of them do. It's a genetic gene with the werewolf that only the strong survive. So Ross, Adam only has one so far older that I know of older brother. And Ross and Adam weren't able to see eye to eye as adults because once you become an adult, you become like alpha werewolf and you can't be around others because violence happens. And that's what made Ross and their dad fight, and Ross had to leave. And that's what made Adam had to leave before he would actually start physically fighting his father for the top position. Ross has a wife named Megan, who's a scientist who's trying to figure out this genetic thing in order to fix it so their son Jonah will survive the werewolf change and that our unborn daughter won't die. Basically, it's a fight against witches and werewolf and a witch. Because Sarah and Adam fight against the witches who want revenge. And it ends with them winning. Adam and Sarah, of course. My favorite character was Adam. He's a different type of werewolf, and I enjoy reading about that. The way he changes is he has to say this certain long-ass phrase to make him shift, and he can shift whenever he wants as long as he says the phrase, and it is painful shit. My most disliked character was John Ringel, for his plot to murder a large number of people because of things that happened in the past. Fear does things to people, man, and you gotta get over that. They feared the witches, they feared things were gonna happen, so they chased them out. And you come back in, showing them that they had a reason to fear for wanting to kill these people who chased them out. What stood out as memorable? Sarah seemed to accept Adam as a werewolf and herself as a witch pretty quickly. Like she always knew something was off about her because she could always see things about people that she shouldn't have been able to see. But still, it was a very quick acceptance. My favorite passage from the story is Wayland, that's right, looked like such a peaceful little town, yet the things that had happened here would curl your hair. Regular witch hunts, like in the Middle Ages. Only now, the witches are getting ready to turn the tables. That doesn't really happen. They don't turn the tables. It's a little less than that. And it was, I guess, a little bit let down of a story. My favorite quote: I knew the moment I first saw you that you were the right woman for me, but that scared me. I tried to run away from it. I tried to tell myself it wasn't true. None of that did me any good. I kept thinking about how much I wanted you, needed you. So Adam is confessing to Sarah that, like, first moment I saw you, I knew you were meant to be mine. And Sarah's like, you're trying to get me to admit that we had instant attraction? Because, yeah, we did. So that's how they find their mates, I guess. I'm not really sure. What book did it remind me of? A little like Twilight with a different take on werewolves and how they operated. Because in there, they're werewolves, they're not shapeshifters. Even though technically they're shapeshifters because they don't depend on the moon. But this is also considered werewolves where they don't depend on the moon. But they have to say a long string sentence in order to change into a werewolf. And it's a painful change. A lot like Remus Lupin's change into a werewolf. And from a werewolf into a human, because that's how it goes. This book is as part of a series called Moon. And there are actually 12 in the series. I am not going to read the rest of the series because truthfully, I lost a lot of interest in it because it wasn't really good versus evil. Like the witches are the good guy and the people were the evil. It was more of the witches are the evil ones, but there's also good witches, and the people in the village are just afraid of witches and their powers because a little boy died. That's literally all it is. So I rate this a 3 because the premise for it wasn't really set up the way I thought the book was going to go. I thought, Sarah was going to be like a heavy hitter who had powers and she knew about them, but she didn't. She sort of knew about them, but she didn't really understand that she was a witch with powers connected to a swamp. So if you think it is a like, comment, or even your lovely subscription, drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.